Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Syntax Solutions. So today's topic is going to be centered around PI planning. Some call it PI planning, some call it PI planning. Okay, so I came up with this list of agenda that we usually do based on experience. Whatever I'm discussing here, I'm discussing based on my experience in my previous organization and in my present company. Okay, so we have a 2 days agenda where we plan all the work that needs to be done in the next quarter. So what is PI? PI simply means program increment, and the PI planning simply means the program increment planning where all the arts or the teams they come together to actually plan the work that will be done in the next quarter. Okay, for me, I work with a solution stream, so we do multiple. We have multiple arts that are depending on each other. So we come together and we plan based on the dependencies. We map out the dependencies. We map out the features that is going to be worked on. We give it a description. We also track them, okay, during our breakout section. So for the first day of the event, the business comes and they give their business contacts. They tell you what they expect from the ads, the deliverables, and they also talk about the importance and, based on priority, what should come first, right? And the product comes and they give you what the solutions come. They give you their solution or their product vision. The architectural give you their own vision. Please note that all these are time boxed. Yeah, you have time slot allocated to each of these agenda, right? Because you don't want to go overboard. Yeah. So after the architectural vision, the next thing we ideally would do is we'll go for lunch. Yeah, this is a whole day planning. It takes the whole of the day. Sometimes we close maybe 7 p.m. Yeah, it takes that long. Then as soon as we come back, all the teams they go out into what we call the team breakout section. Okay, so I came up with a view of what we do. If you look at this next slide, it says the teams breakout section. Here in one thing that you guys should understand is some teams they use Excel to track these dependencies. Some they use Jira, so it depends. So based on experience, I have actually used Excel. So I coined it out from the Excel sheet that I actually prepared and I pasted it here. So I don't know. Okay. So here we have the consumer team. We have the dependency description. We have the sprint that is required. We have the supplier team. We also have the suppliers sprint. It simply means in what sprint would this be done? Okay, we have the consumer contact person. Who do you go to? Okay, that will tell you, that should be able to give you information or update on what they are doing or what they have done so far. We have the supplier contact person as well, and we have comments. Okay, so during the PI planning, you may have comments like, okay, I don't have all the necessary information that you need for this particular dependency. I'm going to follow up or get back to you. So you want to track who needs to do what so that you can follow up and, you want to find out, has this been resolved, that you guys agreed on what sprint they should be done and things like that. You want to capture it here. Then you also want to write yes or no. Have you done it? Yes or no. So for the ones that are saying no, please, you need to follow up. Yes, as the release train engineer, you need to follow up. Okay, what we basically have here are the teams, the consumer and the supplier team. So some people, like I said, they use Jira, while some they use Excel. So at the end of the day, for those that are using Jira, you see all the threads, all the connections mapped out during a program board. Okay, so back to agenda. So once we're done with the breakout section, we'll now come up with what we call the draft plan review. We have a draft plan already in place, and we present it to management where they do the management review and problem solving section. In this particular section, they want to look at, okay, based on the ambiguity, or they want to look at how big these are. They want to like negotiate and, try to like, okay, if this particular, say for example, this particular feature is not going to be done, they want to negotiate and see if there's something that they can switch, replace, and things like that. Yeah, so after that is done, we're done for the day and everybody goes. So on the second day, which is day 2, we come back with the planning adjustment based on what has been resolved from the management review and the problem solving section. We'll have what we call planning adjustment. we want to adjust, we want to switch, we want to we call trade by barter. Yes, we want to like take off and bring in. Okay, so we do the planning adjustment and we go back to the team's breakout section to complete whatever that is left in this particular sheet. Yes, there are some, like I said, in the first day, you may not be able to complete all that needs to be done. But on the second day, you come back here to, like for this one that says no, you want to find out has it been done? Have you guys agreed? So in what sprint do you guys think you can get this done? And in what sprint do you need it? Okay, so once we're done with that, breakout section will now come up with what we call the final review, and subsequently we go out for lunch. Okay, after lunch, when we'll come back, we'll have what we call the program risk. This is where those risks are roomed. R stands for resolve. What are those risks that would be resolved? O stands for owned. What are those risks that are owned? And A, accepted. M, mitigated. What are those risks that will be mitigated? What are the mitigation plans? All those things will be captured. Yes, we'll have a PowerPoint slide. So what I do is, before the PI planning, I prepare a PowerPoint presentation slide. So I circulate those PowerPoint to everybody in charge that will be presenting. Don't forget that I said during pre-PI planning, you need to gather or ask questions. Who's going to be presenting for the business? Who's going to be presenting for the program train? Who's going to be presenting the architectural vision? So you have all those names. And so on each of the slides, all you need to do is paste the person's name and you circulate. As soon as they go there, they know what to do. So you get all those slides filled up. So you also have slides, you will have all those risks that have been roamed. You'll see everything there. So after that is done, we'll do what we call the confidence vote. Okay, this particular presentation that I'm doing right now, I'm doing it based on I'm doing both teams. If you have just one art, or if you're working in a program level, or if you're working on a solutions level. Okay, so you have the team's confidence vote and you have the program confidence vote, usually a fist of 5, telling you how confident they are to get the work done within the PI. Yes, so once that is done, sometimes we'll have what we call a plan rework when they are not too sure. Okay, if it is confident enough to say yes, we can achieve this. You can do a plan rework, not all the time, but actually have that come up. Okay, then after that is done, we'll have what we call the brief ritual. It is a retrospective where you ask them, okay, based on this PI planning, what went well, what didn't go well, what improvement do you guys want to see in the next PI? So they kind of give you feedback, they kind of come back to you. Okay, like let me share one experience in my last organization. After the PI planning and during the retrospective, I got a feedback. One of the stakeholders said, when you go to the Teams map and you click on it, it takes you to the PI planning that was done, like say 2 years ago. Is it possible for all the teams or the arts to get it updated? That's the feedback, right? And I was like, okay, thank you so much. I took note of that. And what I did was to do a follow-up. I sent out emails to all the teams, all the RTMs or the RTEs. And I was like, hey, your team map needs to be updated to PI 15. So let's say, for example, what they have, like say maybe PI 10 or PI 11, right? I need them to update it. So I got that updated. That's the kind of feedback you want to hear. That's the kind of feedback that you may get during your brief ritual. Okay, so when that is done, all the teams or the arts, they will come up with a committed PI objective. Usually those PI objectives are SMART. Yes, they need to be SMART. And if you look at what underneath it, I said they need to be specific, they need to be measurable, they also need to be achievable, realistic, time-bound, and must be completed within the PI. So whatever that is committed, that's why we do what we call the confidence vote. The confidence vote, with a vote, you're able to tell or to measure the amount of work that will be done in that PI. Okay, you want a confidence vote of 4 and above. Okay, it tells you, yes, we're all sure that this particular work that we have planned in this PI will be done. Okay, so at the end of the day, like I said, all those committed PI objective must be SMART. So what are your to do as a release train engineer? Okay, so I have these listed up. Like I said, I am talking based on experience. So what I do is I ensure that during the PI planning, there is communication flow. Yes, you have to be moving from one team, from one art to the other. You're making sure that you're communicating. For those that are doing it virtually, you have to be clicking and logging out and making sure, checking on each of the arts, each of the teams, make sure that things are done the way they are supposed to be done. Okay, so at the end of the PI planning, you also aggregate the team PI's objective to the SMART program objective. You have teams SMART objectives and you have program objectives. So you have to make sure that they are SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time bound, and very, very sure that they will be completed in the PI. Then at the end of the day, you make sure that the program boards are visible and transparent. In the program board, you will see the dependencies, you see the strings attached, you see the teams that are depending on which team, you see the sprint that the work will be done, the expected timeline. You also see the milestone. Yes, the milestone can tell you, okay, this is when those products are likely to be shipped out to the customers. Those are the things that you will see in the program board, and it is advisable to make it open and transparent so that everyone comes in, your stakeholders, they come in and they say, okay, yes, this is where we are. Yes, we're actually on track. We're doing what we're supposed to do. Then once you're done, another thing that you should ensure that goes on during the PI, you make sure that your teams or your act, they are delivering quality value. Yes, you want to make sure that the defects at every point in time is reduced. You don't want products that are that have too many defects. So you want to ensure that quality is actually delivered throughout the PI. Okay. Then another thing that you want to do is write down all the follow-up questions, all the things that you need to follow up on. You need to take note of them. You have to be very vigilant. You have to listen very well throughout the PI planning because there are some discussions that you will need follow up. Yes, once again, I want to share the next slide so that we can see, okay, during the breakout section, this is what you see. For those that want a copy of this with you, so that when you start up your own or when you get a job as a release train engineer, it will be handy for you to give you an insight of what is expected of you. So I want to thank you all once again for coming back to my channel. I try to make this brief. I see the likes, the comment. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. I do one-on-one interview preps. I also help you get certified as a release train engineer, and I can help you get started on your job. Thank you and have a great day. Bye-bye.